Okay, so I thought we'd make a start. So, today we are going to be broadcasting to Facebook via a camera which is set up on the table in front of us. So, the class will obviously stay exactly the same as it's been for the last several weeks, even though we are recording. Obviously, the people who are joining the class via Zoom, you won't be shown on the video, although if you do speak over it, the microphone might pick you up. Anyway, so for our Facebook viewers who join us, if you ever do want to join us fully, you can join us via Zoom. Just send us an email. It's very simple to do, and then we'll send you a link. You just click that link, and then you can join us every week until lockdown ends.
Wow, until we can restart a physical class.
Yeah.
Which might be
a very long time, okay. So, for everybody who's joining us, welcome. The way, for those who are new, the way this class works is we always start off with a simple warm-up which teaches you the most important thing about Tango, which is the Tango posture, or what we consider to be the most important thing about Tango, and we can sort of justify that with logical argument. We will use the warm-up to teach you Tango posture, how to move like a tango dancer, and musicality. We then, as teachers, we have defined 4 core concepts of Tango. So those being the systems of walking, the cross, the ocho, and the scada. And we call these our core concepts because we, from our analysis of Tango, we've considered these to be the sort of main blocks, and from those everything else can be built up. So if you can get your cross, your systems of walking, your ochos, and your scadas right, you can pretty much do everything else within Tango. We then explore, so this week we're going to be using the cross as the basis for that, as our sort of just basic move. We then expand in difficulty by looking at other things you can do from the cross. Today, so in this case we're going to do burritas. We're then going to do a comparison between a saltada and a spiral. Also, those who have been joining us for weeks, you've noticed my leg is now turned pink.
Yes, you've not broken anything.
So this is a leg warmer over my leg.
I only had pink or black.
So, obviously with lockdown, we've been saying you should try and go to online classes because it's a good chance to dance.
Yeah.
And we thought it'd be hypocritical of us not to actually go to other people's classes. So we went a whole weekend of mist with Shirok, and went to Eduardo's class on Friday. And one of the pieces of feedback most people are given is, can you actually do something to make your legs stand out?
Yes.
So Alison is wearing bright coloured trousers. Yeah. I've got a pink
leg.
A pink right leg. Also, incidentally, if I ever do anything with my hand, my right hand wears the watch.
His new shiny smartwatch that he has been going, oh look! I am gonna die now.
Apparently my resting heart rate is 52. So anyway, so today we're going to be doing this. So whether you're a traditionalist or a neo dancer, we'll be doing the cross. We're going to be doing a burrita. Again, doesn't matter if you're a traditionalist, nuevalist or neo-tangoist. We're going to be doing a move which looks like this, which is a saltada, and picking it up with your burritas. Or we've got a modification which keeps you in the embrace, which is this, which is the spiral, and then we can come out in a variety of ways. It can be a leg grab, it can be a volcada, it can be an ocho. So we're going to be teaching you all that. Like last week as well, we'll also be demonstrating the differences in like what people call the styles of Tango, which actually turned out to be not any different at all from each other. So anyway, that's where we're going to start. Anybody have any questions?
Everybody's muted, by the way.
Everybody's muted, by the way, so...
Oh, everybody's good.
Everybody's good. We can see the dog jumping around Susie as well. So we'll
it's not a Zoom call without a dog, sorry.
No.
It's the law.
So we'll start off with our usual way of just developing your Tango posture. Obviously, Tango posture is very individual to each of you, so we're just going to go through a very generic one which you can then adapt to whatever you choose to do. So I'm going to turn sideways on so you can see from the side. Alison will be staying front on. So we're starting with our feet in a very slight V shape. Heels comfortably together, so they can be touching, they can be further apart. And now Tango is danced in a forward lean, sometimes called forward intention. So we're just going to lean forward very slightly until we start feeling our heels coming off the floor. So I'm leaning through my whole body, I'm not hinging at the waist, I'm just leaning my whole body forward, and I'm just going to flex my knees until I come into a state of balance. Again, the amount of flex you have and the amount of lean is entirely up to you. There are styles of tango where you have straight legs, lots of leans, where you lean on your partner. There's other ones where you have a lot more hunch and you're grounded. It's entirely up to you which one you choose to do. But if you're dancing solely, obviously you need one that keeps you in balance. Once we have our tango posture, we have to develop. Tango is often danced on one leg. However, later on you'll see sometimes that's not always true. So from our tango posture, what we normally have to do, especially as leaders, is tell our follower which leg is their free leg, or the leg without weight, and this is called a balanceo. So if I rock all my weight onto my left foot, my pink leg is free to move. So I've still got my weight forward, so I'm still leaning forward, I've still got this flex in my leg, just my right leg is free to move under me. If I rock all my weight through my body, so I'm bringing my chest now over the right ball of my foot, so I'm creating that balance line, or axis there, my left leg is now free to move. So we can rock back and forth, and this is normally how we start every dance. For tango movement, most people will always start with walking, just because it's the easiest thing and most thing that people can associate with. So we're just going to do a simple movement in a box, which will teach you forward steps, side steps and back steps. We'll then include in this some crosses a little bit later on. So I'm going to start with my weight on my right foot, so my left foot is free. I've still got my tango posture. We're going to move forward, and this is usually what leaders tend to do. So in tango, the lead comes from the leader's chest, and what that translates to meaning is wherever the leader's chest goes, it's where the follower's free leg is going to go. So if my chest goes forward and my follower is in front of me, she's going to step back. So I'm going to lean forward a little bit more, and I can feel myself starting to go up and so I'm going to move my right leg forward, take a step forward. I'm still keeping my feet in this slight V shape. I'm making sure my chest travels, or my leg is travelling under my chest. So I've now come to this position with my leg trailing behind. I'm now just going to let my right leg go by releasing the ankle so my leg swings in. So in tango, the trailing leg swings naturally. If I keep my chest moving forward, I can move that chest underneath and take another step. And again, I can release my left leg and allow that leg to come in slowly. We're now going to take a side step. I'm just going to step back so you can see. We're going to push. There's two ways of taking a side step in tango. We either go chest first or leg first. Leg first is what followers tend to do. Chest first is what leaders tend to do if they're trying to lead their follower outside them, but leaders can also go leg first as well. So we're just going to push on the inside ball of the foot, transfer our weight over that ball of the foot. Our trailing leg is behind, so I'm just going to release my foot ankle again and just let it come in to this collect position, which is similar to our balanceo position. We're now going to take 2 steps back, which Alison will explain.
So followers spend the majority of their time going backwards. So we're going to push on the inside foot, ball of the foot and the big toe. We're going to push back in a straight line, keeping contact with the floor, opening up from the rib cage and really stretching back to create a nice long line. So if I go from the side, you've got this nice long line down and back. So you're going to stretch back, push into your standing leg to get the last couple of inches, then transfer the weight by rolling through the foot, bring in the free leg at the front, pass your feet together, and then again stretch back as far as you can, pushing into that standing leg, rolling to transfer, and then bringing in, and then we're going to finish the box off with that push to the side again to take a side step, a transfer, and pull back in.
So we always start off our classes in the same way with this warm-up, whether it's online, physical, a workshop at an international tango festival, or tango in a day courses. We always start off with this basic idea of walking in a box, just because it teaches you some of the keys and understanding of movement in tango, which is always that we are balanced when the chest is over the ball of the foot and the free leg is always moving smoothly underneath that. So if we start off with a balanceo, we'll walk through this box twice and then we'll put some music on. So if I rock my weight on, so my weight is on my right foot, my left foot is free to move. I'm going to move my chest forward, feel myself going off balance, take that step, take another step. We're now going to take a side step to the left. We're going to take 2 steps back, so we're going to open up from the rib cage, push back through, stepping back again. and one more time for this box. Because it's important to see our feet for this lesson, I'm going to tip the screen down a bit, so we might lose our heads for parts of this. Definitely will lose our head for part of this. So we're going to put on a piece of traditional tango music. We're going to walk through this box. When we have the music on, it's difficult for you to hear what we're saying, so we're going to do this by hand movements. So after we go through this box twice, we will indicate that we're balancing onto the other foot, ready to go through it again. Okay, so if you're in couples, you can do this simple box in a couple as well. So we should discuss embrace. The embrace is how we communicate in tango, and communication is what forms connection. So you'll hear these words being mentioned a lot in tango. For us, connection is just the way that you communicate between each other. It's got nothing to do with how physically close you are, or if you're far apart. It's got nothing to do with whether you're in like a Zen-like state. It's just purely how you communicate. So tango has many different styles, different embraces associated with it, and embrace dictates the style. If the embrace is discrete enough from another embrace that it actually limits your movement or limits your possibilities. So styles of tango include Chenyenge, where you'll have an L-shaped embrace with the very bent knees, and we can be lifting the feet. So this is a very early form of modern tango. There's a style of tango called Milonguero style tango, where we are much more upright, leaning against each other. We actually contact all the way through the stomach as well, but this style of tango limits the size of your steps, and you can't do a front boccia with this because my hip gets in the way of Alison's hip. So it's a style used for dancing in small spaces. So those are the two main styles of Argentine tango. There's a third one then, which people will call traditional salon style, and then you'll hear people calling things like Nuevo style. These are not styles, they are continuums of each other, and they are just generic tango. And this is what we tend to use when we're teaching. So, we define embrace as either close or open. Close embrace, there is contact in the chest area. Open embrace, there's space between. It's entirely up to you what embrace you want to use. We say you should be able to move between the two freely and at will, and you should master all of it, because then you can dance whatever you want. So, no matter whether you're close or open, these fundamentals still hold. We'll have our tango posture. We stand in front of each other. Leader may be slightly offset to the left of his follower, but ideally you want to be fairly straight on. We might have a slight V shape between us, but again this is dependent on where you're comfortable with your partner. My right hand comes around and rests on my follower's back as far as is comfortable. So if I'm in a close embrace, it will come around more. If I'm in an open embrace, it'll be more towards my follower's left shoulder. For the follower's left hand,
similar to the leader, so it's going to come around as far as is comfortable. So I'm coming around the top of my leader's back, and if we are moving in and out of that embrace, it's sliding with a flat palm along the top. So try and make sure that you do slide across the back, rather than if you end up in a very open embrace, that you don't push your leader away.
for the left hand, for the leader, this is here to amplify our chest movement. As I said, leaders come from the leader's chest, and then the follower can feel that through their own chest and through the rest of their body as well. So my elbow is facing down and fairly close to my body. Same for my follower's right elbow. I've got enough tone in my arm just to keep it in position, and the follower's hand is resting on top. I'm not pushing that, and I'm keeping our hand in the actual middle of our embrace. As soon as it comes to here or here, it becomes uncomfortable and we start losing a bit of the control from it. So we want to have somewhere where it's comfortable. You may see some people dance with their arms out like this. This could be personal choice, it could be a styling thing. You might see people dancing with their hands up here somewhere. Again, it's personal choice, it's styling. I use my head and look over my shoulder, my follower's right shoulder. My follower can either look over my right shoulder if she is sufficient height, or what we would naturally say is the best alternative for everybody is to look at the leader's chest. So slightly incline the follower's head to look at their chest. We're not ballrooming and looking over the follower's left shoulder, and we are not tilting the head to one side, down, up or anywhere else. Also, one thing Alison is not doing is closing her eyes. You will often see some tango dancers, especially followers, with their eyes shut. We don't recommend this. This is part of a training wheel where they are trying to feel the man's chest better, or leader's chest better. And this is how they develop their way of actually feeling the dance. Unfortunately, having your eyes closed throws off your balance. It doesn't give you spatial awareness of what's going on.
But you're removing a sense, so you've got these senses, make sure that you use them. You know, I think people say, oh, it's the leader's responsibility for safety on the floor craft, but actually the follower can also see what is going on around them and also inform the follower's choice about styling, because there's no point in you deciding to do some sort of massive bolero as a styling choice if you've got your eyes shut.
So, if you're in partnership, you can go into partnership, rock your weight to one side, it doesn't matter which side. We're going to take 2 steps forward, come into that cleft position, taking a step to the side. When we go backwards as leaders, make sure we take the feet back first before taking the chest, otherwise you will get kicked. And we're just going to use that piece of music to go through that box a couple of times. Then we'll have a quick look at the musicality and the cross. Should say if you're a solo dancer, just have a practice of actually still doing the box. Or what you can do if you're a solo follower, we have got some solo leaders, you can watch what they're doing and try and react to what they're doing as a leader and dance virtually with each other.
Como Lisina, las lindas pibas de delante, donde en la noche tibia y serena su antiguo amor del malvón, y bajo el cielo luna llena, vuelve la chata con el corralón. Soy de ese barrio humilde rango, soy del campo sentimental.
So in tango, we should briefly talk about timing, because this is all about musicality. We can do musicality as well. Tango music is normally in the time signature of 4/4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Strong beats are on the 1 and the 3. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it doesn't have to be. You can dance to any piece of music you want with tango. So what we should do is listen to the music and use that to inform when we step and how far we step and the speed at which we step. So you can listen to beats, you can listen to melodies, you can listen to harmonies, you can listen to the overall intensity. You could ignore it totally if you wanted to. Yeah. In some milongas that's probably beneficial to stop your ears from bleeding. But so what we're going to put on now is just going to do that exercise one more time with a totally different type of music. This is what people would call alternative tango music. It's a piece of music which isn't written for tango, but is very expressive, so good for dancing to. we thought we'd stop that before Facebook mutes the video for copyright problems.
Oh, is that why you're doing so quick?
Yeah. We're just going to unmute everybody. So, everybody getting on okay so far? Yeah. Yeah, good.
Good.
Okay, so we're now going to go into the cross. So named because it makes us very angry.
Just make us angry as we used to.
So, out of our 4 core concepts, we say the cross is the hardest one to perfect, or I say perfect, obviously there's no such thing as perfection in dance, but it's the hardest one to actually get to a sense of being, for lack of a better word, right. So what often you'll see is people doing what we would call a pseudo cross. So the cross can be either a front or back cross, and it ends up in a position where one foot is crossed in front of the other. So obviously you can have right foot in front of left foot in front of right, and it means that there are two ways to get into each of those. We can either take the foot and drag it in front, or take it from behind and drag it behind. So you've got where we take the leg in front of the other one is called the front cross, and followers tend to do a cross where their right foot is their standing leg and the left foot drags in front. So fundamentally it doesn't sound that difficult to put one leg in front of the other. And that's where the problems begin, because putting one foot in front of the other gives you what we call the pseudo cross. The technical aspect of the cross is the fact that our tango posture creates a pivoting point. So when our chest is over the ball of the foot and our weight is on our right foot, the right foot should be free to pivot under us as much as we want, and that's what we're going to use. So followers, this is mainly for you today. When you this part is anyway. This is really weird. I'm seeing myself talk, but without the head on it.
That's why I do part of it.
That's still not helping.
So much taller.
I never thought I might be too tall for a video, but so what we're going to do is, as a follower, we're going to do this from a back step. So we're going to step back on the left, and then when we step back on the right, we're going to open up our hips slightly. So you're going to turn your hips to face to your right. What we're going to do here, I'm just going to pivot around just so you can see what's happening, is then take your left foot in front of your right. And as you do that, you're going to pivot on the right foot. So the right foot faces back along the line of dance. So this is the key part, is you want that freedom to pivot underneath yourself. So Alison does this far nice for me. What you've also got to be aware of as a follower is the path that your left heel is taking. Sorry, I can see Susie's dog jumping on her. So you don't want to take a heel over the top of your toes, otherwise if you drop your heel too much it will
slice your foot open.
Alison speaks from experience.
I do.
So what we're going to do is just take, for the solo dancers first of all, we're just going to start off with that box. So if we balanceo onto, I'm just trying to work this out, our left foot, so our right foot is free, then take a step forward with the right, forward with the left, then take a step back to the side of the right, close left foot to it, then step back on the left. We're then going to open up to the right, we're then going to pivot on the ball of the foot as we drag the left foot in front of the right. We're going to step back on the right foot, Ben looks confused, step to the side on the left, and then we should be ready to go again. So again, we're stepping forward on the right, forward on the left, taking that side step to the right, stepping back on the left foot, opening up with the right foot, pivoting as we drag the left foot in front of the right, step back on the right foot, taking a side step to the left. So this is basically what the follower is going to be doing for the first part of this class. Oh, by the way, we should also point out we have a biscuit break at about 25 past, half past, which after that then we get into the more difficult sort of stuff.
Everybody needs a biscuit before that.
So, as a leader, what we're going to be doing is we're going to take this, instead of doing that first 2 forward steps, we're just going to take this from the side step and 2 back steps for the follower. So this is what the lead is going to be doing. So the followers, Alison's going to follow me even though she's separate and to the side. So I've got my weight on my right foot, or on the pink leg. We're going to take the side step to the left as the leader, which means the follower is going to follow us and take the right step. We're going to step outside the follower. And because we're stepping outside, we need to angle our chest towards our follower to keep that point of communication, which is our chest. So that's our connection. But my hips are facing forward. As I step forward on my left foot, I'm going to turn to face my follower. This is really exaggerated. We can do a cross far more subtly than this, but for teaching online and first time learning this is a better way of doing this. And then as I transfer my weight over my left foot, this brings my follower's weight onto her right foot, so the pivoting foot. I'm going to lift my chest slightly and twist to my left and as I bring my weight over my left foot. And what this causes is the follower to pivot on the ball of her foot with the twist. Because my chest is up in the air, the weight is staying off the ball of the travelling foot. And because I'm still moving over my left hand or my left foot, the follower's foot is going to follow my chest into that cross position. What I can also do as a leader is, I've got my side step forward twist, is as I do this I can pivot myself around on the ball of my right leg just to make sure I'm pacing along the line of dance. It's not essential I do this, but it tidies things up a little bit. Also, what I could do as a leader, instead of bringing my feet to the side position, I could put myself into my own cross if I wanted to. We're just muting everybody again. So, if we're in partnership now, so I'll speak through it for the solo dancers. You can do it solely. You can follow Ben, who's or Peter, if you're a solo follower. So I'm balancing into my right leg. My left foot is free. I take that side step to the left. I'm going to angle my chest towards my follower as I step outside with my right leg. She's stepping back on her left. I'm going to effectively sidestep to open up to her. And as I transfer my weight onto my left foot, I'm going to raise my chest slightly, twist into the left, close my feet together, and we're in the cross position. So some teachers will take the cross to be a move like this. What we do is take the cross to be a position. There are many ways into the cross, but what we find useful about the cross is what we do with it after. So about 3 weeks ago we taught the cross and we did volcadas with it. We can do the cross purely as for the sake of doing the cross and walk out with it. What we like to use the cross for is to change the systems of walking. So I can go from the cross system of walking into parallel system or outside system, so you can use the cross for that. Or what we're going to use the cross for today is to move into another position in tango, which is effectively a forward ocho. So what we want you to do is this. I'm going to do it in more open style. So here's the front cross. I'm going to take my follower across me as if I'm going to take it into a front ocho. So the cross and the front ocho are always linked via this step. And if you do the ocho you'll see that one of the pivots of the ocho is replaced with a cross, largely because ocho were done in Mi Nogero style where you can't ocho fully, so it comes from that. So the question is, how do we get from the follower in this cross position with her weight on her right, yeah, that's it, right.
Yeah.
She's a pink fin on her leg
Do
as well.
I need to put a pink leg warmer on? Question. No, I just get people laughing
Sue
at me.
and Gordon have got anything. Sarah is shaking her head. Ben is laughing. Lauren laughed.
Will it clash with my trousers, is it? Yes. Right.
Somebody's saying roll their trouser up.
Okay. God, how much leg do you want me to show? God.
I know. So we should probably point out that for those watching on Facebook who are not in the class,
Why? Why are you not in the class?
why are you not in the class? You would be able to see so much more than what's going on. In the chat thing, Ben has just said, "Welcome back to somebody whose computer has crashed."
Yes.
So,
Perils of online learning.
yes. So, how do we transfer the weight, which is currently on Alison's right foot, onto her left foot so she can step forward on her right? And the way we do that, from a leader's point of view, is by twisting our chest to straight and then going a little bit more. So I'm just going to talk through this from this is called practice embrace. We tend not to use it very often.
No, we're only using it at the moment just so it's clearer from an online perspective.
Yeah, the reason why we don't use practice embrace is because it messes around with your posture a little bit.
Yeah.
You're far better off just practicing in a proper embrace if you can.
Because if you learn it this way, you're going to have to relearn it again
That way.
that way.
So what we do, from this side step to the left, and when I get into this cross position, as I twist my chest to straight, the weight will naturally transfer onto my follower's front foot, so she'll unhook that back leg. If I continue to twist her, she will pivot so she's at 90 degrees to me, like she would in an ocho, and then we're ready to move out. So what I'm doing is just leaving my weight on my left foot while doing this, and I've got my right foot or pink leg free. I don't have to do that.
I'm going to get you some yellow one, I think. Oh, that Catherine's shoes.
I might do some Neo, like the dark.
You've got reflector straps upstairs.
Oh yes, I've got reflector straps for cycling in upstairs. I can take those off my drawers, which is where they stay, and put those on my leg, and I can do this in the dark.
That's actually a lockdown thing. To stick like glow sticks all over you, turn the lights off and do a dance.
So I could change my weight onto my right foot if I wanted to do this, and I'm on my left foot free to move, which is nice. I can do synchronised back ochos with that, since forward ochos then if I did that. But for today we want to actually keep the right foot free because we're going to be using this foot to burrito in about 5 minutes time. So we'll do this separately first, so solo followers can follow me, or another solo leader. We'll talk through the actual steps we're doing. So I balance my weight onto my right foot. We're going to have left foot free for the leader, right foot free to the follower. We're going to take that side step. We're going to twist our chest towards each other. We're going to take that step outside with the right foot, back on the follower's left. We're going to twist face each other. So my weight is still on my right foot and on Alison's left. As I transfer my weight onto my left foot, I'm going to twist my chest to the left and come up slightly, which puts her into this cross. I'm keeping the weight on my left foot, so my right foot is free. And I twist her slightly to my left as I come to straight, which unhooks her. I can twist her a little bit more, and then take her across myself by, I can take a side step to the right. I think everybody got to there okay, except for Sarah, who's
chilling.
She's
like, oh, get up then. Oh.
I think from that point of view, Tara, you're doing the stretching part at the end of this class.
She got it, maybe she got up and she did it.
Yeah. For those in partnership, we can do this as a partnership. By the way, there's a stretching section at the end of the classes around 9 o'clock. So we're going to take a side step to the left. We're opening up, so I'm twisting my chest towards the right as I step outside with my right foot, twisting to face my follower, twisting my chest to the left as I come over my left foot, bring my chest upright. As I twist my follower, bring her across me, and I can take her through into a front ocho if I want. And from what I can see of everybody else, by the way, we've got a projector screen, so everybody's quite large in front of it, and that's looking very nice from everybody.
Yes. Thanks for having a projector.
Folks of having a projector that everybody's actually a decent size rather than a 2 centimetre square.
Yeah.
So that's how we can do a cross and how we can get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go to the biscuit break, we're just going to do the sort of next level. So we would call.
Some music there?
Oh, actually, yeah, let's do it with some music, and then this time let's go for some what people would call new wave music, electronic tango music, because this class uses all types of
music.
all the music.
All the music, because we're greedy.
Yeah, because we're greedy and we want people to experience all types of tango music. So this is actually a
Your
tango
video
band.
has been partially muted.
Oh, great.
Ah, well. Still going.
Yeah, we're still going live.
Just checking that we're all still there, Facebook. You
Yeah.
are.
So that's, for those who don't know, Differentiate by Gotown Project. The previous song was Lana Del Rey, Born to Die, and the first song we used was Tres Esquinas by Sexteto Milonguero.
Well done, that wasn't too bad pronunciation today.
Thank you. Yeah, for those who know, I have problems reading, so trying to get tango names.
Yes. Once he's read it out loud once, it's very difficult to get him to correct it inside his head.
Yes. So, just before the biscuit break, we're just going to cover burritos very, very quickly. So burritos for us are what we would call in the novice category of moves. So beginners, we don't like classifying people as beginners, novice, intermediate.
No, because it's whatever you feel your ability is. We don't want to label. That's why you have one class that just ramps up in difficulty, rather than giving it a label so that people feel that they are a beginner or they feel they are a novice, and they label themselves, which also gives them a lot less confidence actually, because people will then think they're a beginner for 10 years or something. You should challenge yourself and decide what you want to do. And
For us, basically, experience has nothing to do with either. You can be learning tango for 20 years and you can still be rubbish. You've been learning tango for 6 months and you can be excellent.
Yes, exactly. It totally depends on your background as well, and what you've done before,
and
how you learn as well.
And also, technically, you're probably still learning all the way through your.
Always learning in life.
Yeah,
You never stop learning.
but also people have different learning curves as well. So again, somebody could be learning really intensively for 6 months and then plateau off for the next 15 years, and therefore they're just as good as they were when they're 16 months in. Sorry, 6 months in.
Yeah, and if you go to class once a month, or if you go to class every day, it's going to make a difference.
Yeah. And also practice.
Practice.
We'll steal the thing from two-set violin. I practice 40 hours a day. So, burridas. Burridas are a class of move which involve foot play, and it comes from the word, the Spanish word burrida, or something, which means to sweep in Spanish.
I didn't bring the brush in.
No. So, actually, I'm going to need a pillow. I'm so glad Alison washed the floor earlier.
I didn't.
Okay, brush the floor.
I brushed it out. Washing it is a bit extreme.
You may also require a stick if you want to do it with a stick. So, a burrida, let's put that down there, normally in tango looks something like this.
That's a bad angle.
That's a really bad angle for us. There we go. Where either the leader or the follower effectively move their partner's foot with their own. So this is the sweeping motion, you're sweeping the floor. Now there's a lot of debate about what a burrida actually is, whether it's a legged move, whether it's foot led, whether it's an illusion step, because I could, if I'm in that same position, I could do this. So I put my foot in position, and from your point of view, that probably looks like I'm moving my follower's foot. Actually, my foot's about 3 inches away from her foot. I'm just using my chest to move it, hence why people can call it an illusion step, whether you're actually still moving your chest. Some people think that this happens where I'm just actually physically moving my follower's foot. I think most people would actually agree that that's wrong, because I've now lost my connection with my follower's foot with my chest, therefore I'm going to struggle to lead anything from it. So what actually it is sort of a combination of me moving her with my foot and actually leading her with my chest at the same time. We'll cover this briefly now as well. Followers, you don't have to be led to do a burrito back.
No.
The follower or the leader could put his foot in position. He could invite you to take it by sliding his foot away and then moving his chest, and hopefully the follower will come with him and go, oh, he wants a burrito. Or she could just take the initiative and actually physically move my foot. And this is where the pillow comes in, especially for the solo dancers, or possibly the stick as well. So if you have,
I don't know what the stick's for.
if you have got a stick,
Oh, I see.
if you move a burrito is normally taken from a point where your weight is on your back leg and you have a leg in a position in front of the other. It
Got
also
a lovely pointy toe.
it also occurs when normally when the follower is 90 degrees to the leader. So if I had a stick and I'm a follower, I can put the stick at an angle, so I've put my hand out to the side. This has conveniently got a screw hole in it, so I can use that as a pivot point. I'm just going to let the thing rock, and I'm just going to put it against my foot, and I'm just going to feel, because my leg's free to move, I can just feel it moving with the stick. I can then move my stick back, so I can move it around with my foot, and if I get the angle of it right, it will naturally swing back to the position like a follower's leg would. Similarly, if I don't have a stick, I can do it with a pillow. So I can put my foot on the side of a pillow,
Pillow's not going to behave now.
pillow, and just move it across the floor. If I wanted to be adventurous, I could try it with stick and pillow, where I move the stick actually with my hand into a position and I'm just using this as a foot. Or if you have a prosthetic leg, this is probably the best way of doing it. Or if you have a cadaver in your body, you can just cut somebody's leg off and do it that way.
Why do you have to say these things?
I was actually thinking of like one of those biological skeletons that you have in school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just say skeleton. Teaching skeleton.
Teaching skeleton, that's it.
Yeah.
But you can use a
We
stick
don't
to do
have
it.
one of those, I can just say that.
I know, I'm not a biologist.
He's not a medical doctor. But despite me, if he ever tells you, yes, he is a doctor, he's not a doctor of medicine.
No, far better, Doctor of Physics
Yes.
and Engineering. So, what we're going to do, if you obviously you can use those methods for doing the sticks and
So if you've got a brush, you can use your brush.
so what we're going to do is
Or a brolly.
take the follower into the cross, unhook her, let her come across herself as if we're going to do this front ocho. So I'm about to step to my right. What I'm going to do is just angle myself to here. So this is the follower taking her forward step across. This is me about to take my side step for the ocho. And instead of taking my weight onto my leg, like I don't normally do, what I'm actually going to do is put it on the inside of my follower's foot. So I'm moving my foot next to it. And then what I'm going to do is leap with my knee, moving in the generating the direction. I'm going to drag my follower's foot across my other one with my chest following the foot. And what I'm going to do is just move it to where I think the follower is comfortable. I'm not going to move it as far as I can go. I'm just going to move it across myself to where she is comfortable. So this is a burrito. So again, if you've got something on the floor, you can move it with your foot. If you have got a partner, you can get to this position from either an ocho or from that front cross going into the forward step. I'm going to drag the foot across. If I want the follower to burrito me back, I can move my chest back and just let her move my foot. And again, the follower's going to move my foot in this to where she thinks I'm comfortable. Again, she's not going to try and push me further than I am comfortable. This will call me to sink. And we can go back and forward as many times as we like. And this is a basic burrito. Obviously there's lots of different burritos you can do. You can do it with the other foot. You can
Swap sides.
swap sides.
So, so the follower doesn't then burrito you back, the leader swaps the side of the foot and continues to burrito the follower.
Yeah. Or basically plays ping pong with their foot.
Yes, don't do that, yeah. Burritos, nice, don't do too many of them, and please do not play ping pong with the follower's foot because she'll get annoyed. So you just have to go whoop, whoop, whoop for 5 minutes. Boring.
So let's just get into a point where we can do a burrito, then we'll stop for the biscuit break.
Yes. Separately or?
Yeah, we'll do it separately first of all. So I'm bouncing onto my right foot, my follower's on their left, my left foot is free. I think that's side step to the left, twist my chest to the right, step outside through, so we're going to practice getting into that cross position, so the follower's going to cross, but over twist her, and then I'm going to take her across myself into the front archer. And I'm just going to bring my foot as if I'm going to do that side step, but I've stopped. I've not actually transferred my weight onto it. I'm going to find my follower's imaginary foot from this point of view, and then drag that foot across myself. I can go back and forth as many times as I want. And then when I've had enough of doing that, I can just put my weight down, transfer my follower's weight onto it, and then just take her across me into a front option. Or ask someone to do a cross.
I do go into cross, I'm sorry.
If we're in partnership, this is what
That's what happens when you try and follow someone who's behind you and you can't see.
Yeah. I'm not sure why you'd ever go into a cross from that burrito position, but by the way, no reference to the way.
Oh, okay. There we
So,
are, that's what I said.
this is what that looks like in practice embrace. So, stepping to the left, outside, putting that follower into the cross, taking a leg across me, I'm finding her foot, I'm moving it, I can move it back and forth as often as I like. What you'll notice is we're always balanced in this position, so you can practice this slowly. When we've had enough of that, we can put the follower's foot down. This is why she can't go into a cross, my foot is still in contact with her foot. We can do a little parada, shoe shine or lasciada. So this block is a parada. Stepping her over into a passada, and then we're ready to move out again. We'll do this in close embrace now. You okay?
Yeah, just reading Ben's comment. This floor was already scratched, Ben.
I'm surprised that that camera was good enough to you to pick up all the scratches in the floor.
It's quite a smart, so Chris has been pivoting and breaking with his heel.
By the way, Ben is a carpenter, so are you trying to imply that you need to install a new floor for us then?
Solid.
Do if you want. I would be less than impressed if you put the stick across it though afterwards.
Yeah.
For one of our first weeks where we were doing ochos, I've got a load of half circle marks over there where the rub of my heel made contact with the floor and I slowed myself down as a break. So, there's Mark somewhere from Tara as well when she had a private lesson here somewhere. There it is, Tara. Your legacy on our floor is still there.
Where there's a blame, there's a claim.
So, from the embrace, bouncing onto the right foot, we're going to do that side step to the left, twisting our chest towards each other, stepping outside, going into the cross, taking her across ourselves, moving that foot, so good idea to get good exercise for chest isolation, dragging that foot across. We do these as many times as we like. We can then pause, take the follower's foot over ourselves, parada, passada. Oh, by the way, for those who are saying this is a block, not a parada, the difference is so subtle.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all about how much pause you put in there. For all intents and purposes, this is a parada. So that's how we do it. So I'm going to stop for the biscuit break now.
Want to play a bit of music?
We'll put on a piece of music for you while people go and get biscuits and stuff if you want to practice.
Do you want to get a drink or a cup of tea?
Yeah, and then we'll restart the class at about 22, and we'll also get some announcements out the way then as well.
Only got chocolate.
Well done, Ben.
I've eaten.
bonito es el miedo cuando es sincero, qué brillante el futuro cuando es oscuro, qué exquisito el delito cuando lo grito, cuando lo grito. Una vida más tarde comprenderemos que la vida perdimos solo por miedo. Qué belleza la vida cuando se olvida, qué profunda la herida si está dormida, qué segura una barca a la deriva, a la deriva. Una vida más tarde comprenderemos que la vida perdimos solo por miedo. ¿De qué sirve la calma si no me salva? ¿Cuánto vale mi alma si no cabalga? ¿Dónde va la esperanza si no me alcanza? Si no me alcanza. Una vida más tarde comprenderemos que la vida perdimos solo por miedo. Qué bonito es el miedo cuando es sincero, qué salvaje el deseo cuando te veo, ¿quién pudiera decirte lo que te quiero? Cuánto te quiero. Una vida más tarde comprenderemos que
Not
la
up to
vida
two of them, probably asked that.
perdimos
Thought about that.
solo por miedo.
Okay, we're just going to unmute everybody, so if you do have a chat, please feel free.
Are you going to leave that stream?
Yeah, leave that streaming.
Should no warning though.
Oh yeah, we probably should get the bad news out the way first as well.
Oh yeah.
So we've decided to...
Let's put the camera back up so you can see us.
yeah, sorry, I'm going to take the camera back up because I need to have the serious face on us.
Serious face. Oh, you tipped it up too far. Just a small, just a little amount.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes. No idea.
What's
Anyway.
chocolate then?
I love my chocolate.
No, I don't like chocolate.
Anyways,
Something.
so I've got a big fin of cookies. So for those on Facebook,
Cookies.
there's 6 of you watching us. Hello.
Hello, people on Facebook.
It's interesting to see who's actually joining us as well. I'm not sure who's still with us, but it's good to see you all anyway.
My dad, oh no, so my dad was in there, my sister, your sister, we're doing quite well.
Yeah, family members.
I'm trying to
Some
scroll,
people-
I'm trying to scroll on your laptop with the mouse that's attached to my keyboard.
Anyway, we'll get the bad news out the way first.
Yeah.
We've decided to postpone this year's Welsh International Tango Festival
Until 2021.
until 2021. We thought basically it's not fair on our guest teachers, guest DJs, people who would be coming to the event as dancers, to sort of put pressure on them by continuing to say we're going to run the event.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen with this virus, whether there's going to be double peaks. We don't know about international travel, and since some of our guests, well, quite a few of our guest teachers and bands are travelling internationally,
And just dancers
and
as
just
well.
dancers will be travelling internationally, booking accommodation. We don't want to put, as responsible organisers, we don't want to put you under pressure for that sort of stuff and put you at
We're
a
also
disadvantage.
not sure about our venue or either, because it's based on the university, so whether they'll be open to running events like this, we're not sure.
Yeah. So we thought best off be fair to you, give you plenty of warning. We're not going to be running this year. We're going to keep the bookings open for those dates
Yeah.
for the rooms we have got booked, in case we
run something else.
yeah, if it is safe to run something else, we will run something else at the time.
Just to market.
But if you do want to come to next year's Tango Festival, I'm
The
assuming
bookings are open.
the bookings are open. I'm assuming you've got nothing in your diaries for that 18 months ahead, so nothing's stopping you from booking on now. I'm assuming most people like try and plan their like big holidays that far ahead for next year.
Prices are the same prices that we were charging
Yeah,
this year.
prices are
as
the
well.
same price. Line-up is pretty much the same, so we've got Nick and Deanna as a headline act.
Yeah.
We got Eduardo, Sue and Sean from Adore Academy, the Island Dance Wizards, we're teaching some stuff. We got 3 live music acts, Cabaret Tango, Tango Claw, and I don't know how to say her name, but he was watching us on the Facebook earlier.
Like
so
Spanish
great.
trio.
Yeah, Spanish trio, which don't actually have a name, they're just sort of
A trio.
a trio. We got Wayne Rosier DJing.
Yeah.
We got Merrick Salmon giving a talk about the history of the bandoneon.
What's the most important thing?
Oh, food.
Food. Obviously, we will have Goggy's Cuisine and their lovely, lovely food again next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Also, we are in current talks to get Tango Clothing Company
Yes.
coming along as well.
Yes, and we will try our best to start to get shoes
Yeah.
as well.
Shoes.
Yes.
Um,
Shoes are important.
Handpainted.
On the other side, we've got good news as well.
Yeah.
Put the 20th June in your diaries. We're going to be doing another come together workshop and Malonga.
Yeah.
Slightly different format to the previous 2 we've held.
Yes.
Again, we got Eduardo and Merrick.
Yeah.
However, because we want to try and encourage people to actually stay for the live music
Yeah.
and actually have practice dancing and get used to socialising, instead of the tickets where there was 2 tickets, a £5 ticket and £10 ticket, or whatever it was plus booking fee, we're just going to offer the one £10 ticket for all of it to half force you to stay for it if you want to. But also we're going to add value onto it as well,
Yes.
because myself and Alison, before Eduardo's workshop, are going to be teaching a blues tango fusion workshop.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an introduction to blues. So for those who've never danced blues, you get to learn a bit of blues.
Yeah.
And for those who are staunch tango dancers and think fusion is the work of the devil, we're going to slightly subdue Beelzebub by by doing a lot of tango styling and tango decoration. So you could just take it as a tango decoration workshop
Yes.
with some odd musicality movements in it.
Yes. And some slightly different music.
Also,
Are you talking with your mouth?
I am. I'm way over the time. I'm hungry.
Oh.
Also, what's going to
We
happen?
did eat before class.
Again, like Edward, what we've also done for Eduardo's class, which will be on Vals. The
Oh,
first
is
half,
it? I didn't know
yeah.
this.
the first half of the class will be using recorded music, like you would expect in any class. The second half of the class will be to live music, because him and Eduardo, Merrick and Eduardo will be collaborating, and Merrick will be playing Vals music on piano for you to do Eduardo's exercises. 2, so you can emphasise different parts of the music and actually have some sort of musical collaboration to it, which will then nicely flow into the Malonga, where Merrick is going to also do some blues music, some jazz and stuff like that.
Just gonna let him play what he wants, really.
So Diane, from your point of view, since you're into the Swansea jazz scene, we're also hoping to get quite a bit of jazz music into the Malonga part, so people who are missing jazz live music can come and actually listen to jazz music, and then we'll probably try and set up like a special thing just for so jazz lovers can come along and join in and listen to some live music as well. Merrick is familiar with the Swansea jazz scene because he has played jazz here in both Taliesin and some places around Uplands as well. So, yeah, good news to finish off that part. And before we move back on to doing some,
Just say hello.
Get distracted, Grace.
You should read in the chat.
I'm
It's
reading
not
what
being-
you're saying.
It's
Ben.
not distraction. You have to be on top of the chat as well as everything else. Because we've got,
Yeah.
we're having to watch all of you on the screen. Check the chat. Check nobody's waiting to get in. Check the Facebook Live. It's very complicated, Ben. It's very complicated. Although Sarah obviously is co-hosting,
What
so
I
she's
say is not actually that important, so you don't need to keep stopping.
I could be really cruel and say Ben isn't that important. But I thought that'd be a bit generous because I'm implying that he is slightly important by saying that's important.
We're on Facebook.
And we're on Facebook Live as well. Come to our class, get insulted. So, anyway, yeah, so that's our main announcements for the week. Obviously, we'll be back next week with our normal class. Eduardo is teaching on Friday evenings.
Yes.
A live class, so if you want to join him, check out the Tango Alchemy. I just put a bit of biscuit on the floor. Tango Alchemy Facebook page. So
yes, he has changed. We went to the class Friday night, and he's changed the angle that he's filming from, so you can see a lot better. He's got rid of the dark backdrop and the dark trousers, so you can see a lot better. So he did cover
exactly what we did in our workshop.
what he'd done in the Come Together workshop. So I'm not sure what he's doing next week. I think he's going to do another bit section to go on.
So basically, this is
the other pink leg warmer that Chris hasn't got on.
I know. I'm thinking of posting it to him. Just go.
Oh, it was better though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know a lot of people are asking for one colour leg trousers.
Also, if you go on Eduardo's Facebook page, look at his story. It's actually just like a dance through recap of what.
Yes,
he
if anybody
did.
wanted to recap from the Come Together or last Friday, it's currently on Eduardo's is it Tango Alchemy story or
I
Eduardo's?
thought it was Eduardo's, but
Eduardo's story. So you find him on Facebook, you'll see his story.
any other notifications? Any other announcements anybody's got? Any other interesting news? No.
No, everyone's like, no.
No,
You're not allowed outside, we haven't got any news.
On the bright side, it's been bright weather. Oh, by the way, the thing on the 20th of June is also the solstice, so we're going to call it something like the Welsh Solstice Tango. Something or other. So.
We'll come up with some daft name, no doubt.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we restart and get on with the rest of the class then?
Yes.
Good. So.
Let's mute you all. Not that you all said anything anyway. Very quiet today, aren't they?
No.
Would you like me to take the screen back down?
Yes, please. So what we're going to look at now is the move called the spiral. So, as far as Argentine Tango is concerned, this is quite a simple move, but it's really interesting from a technique point of view. So, in Argentine Tango, the follower normally has their weight. You right?
Yeah, just scrolling down to see if there's any comments or just watching.
Follower normally has their weight on one foot, which allows them to be pivoted around and do calcitas. In the spiral, the follower actually has their weight centred. So instead of doing a calcita, so a calcita is a roundabout thing, so it's where the follower is on one foot, and I can walk around them at will. However, when we get them into a point where their weight is balanced and I walk around, she actually pivots on both balls of the feet. And this builds up tension through her, which then can be released into a planeo or something like this. So that's what. Pardon?
You said planeo.
Planeo, yeah.
Planeo or planeo.
Or planeo or planeo, yeah. So it allows you to actually move around your partner in a slightly different way to what you would normally. So you can get into this from ochos. So we will just do this briefly from what we've done in the class so far. We'll then totally ignore what we've done in the class so far and just do this from an ocho point of view, just to save time. So, if everybody, we'll talk you through this just because I say this is actually relatively simple. So, if everybody's up on their feet, we're in the embrace. If you have a partner, not embrace, obviously not. We're going to take that side step to the left, just step outside the follower to the right, open up to the side, move the follower into the cross by twisting our chest to the left and up. We're going to bring the follower across ourselves, and we're going to get this burrida to take the follower's right foot across herself. So put her into burrida. She's going to come into the block or the parada. She can do a shoe sign, and then she's going to step over. So this is exactly the same as what you would do if you were doing an ocho. So I'm just going to swivel around. So I've got her in this position, so she goes back to where she was. She's just stepped over me. So her left foot is in front of the right. What I'm going to do now is just sink her down very slightly and take her very slightly back, so the weight is over her left foot. I'm just going to take her back to her right and just hold her in place using my arms. And I say I've sunk her down. And this means her weight is now evenly distributed between the 2 feet. I can now step over my follower's foot and walk around her in a clockwise direction. And because her weight is down on both feet, she will just coil up, so she will literally just follow me with her body. So her left foot is in front of right, she's falling over, so her left foot is in front of right. As we come across just to the other side, now her left foot is in front, keep going around, she's not going to get any further, so when she releases it, you'll get a planeo. And this is a spiral, it's just this walking around the follower in this position. So what we're going to do is do this simply from a parada into an ocho. So to get into this move now, what we're going to do is take a side step to the left. I'm going to put my right foot next to my follower's right. So I'm going side step to my left, right foot next to my follower's right, so I pivot her in as if I'm going to take her into a front ocho. Going to step her across me, so she's taken her left foot over, and now I'm just going to sink her weight down, and then a spiral time by walking around. The follower is just going to unfurl herself, and then when she feels she can go more longer, she's going to release that back leg, and she's just going to pivot around, and she can come into an ocho, a cross, volcada, whatever she wishes to. So from the follower's point of view, if we do this solely now, I'm going to take my side step to the left, block the follower's right foot, twist her to put her into the ocho. She's going to step over me with her left foot. I'm now just going to walk around my imaginary partner as she pivots, so she's twisting to her right on both feet. And that's your spiral.
Yeah, so for the followers, as you are being turned around, just make sure that you maintain that chest-to-chest connection, so you're not touching, you're staying with your partner as he walks around you. So if you just does that here, I'm staying with him as he walks around, I'm staying with him the whole time, rather than getting left behind or jumping ahead for that matter.
So obviously you can get into spiral loads of different ways, and you can do it in either direction. You've got opportunities to do like little decorations. What you can do also with the spiral leaders is take her weight onto different feet at different times. So she starts off centred, and then you can change her weight onto just the front foot, in which case you then take this into a calcita. So I'll just demonstrate that. So currently her weight is centres. As I walk through here, I'm going to just bring her into me, so her weight is now on her right foot. It means that I walk around her now, that left foot is free to pivot around. So you can do sort of nice things like this. You can also do this from a back ocho position. So here's a back ocho, I'm sinking her down here, spiraling. If I do back ocho this side, a bit awkward, I have to move around her in the other direction. Cameo leg wrap, there's loads of different options just for me able to play around with these spirals. So that's the spiral covered.
Done, tick.
Yeah. So now we've just got our last little bit to cover, which is a saltada. Saltadas are an unusual move, and it's basically when we started tango and we were starting to explore different areas of tango, people we mainly went to some traditional classes, and people go, oh, I can dance nuevo, and what they effectively meant is that they would do this. Basically an underarm turn.
Underarm turn, tick. I can dance away though.
Yeah. Underarm turns aren't actually nuevo. You can look at videos from the 30s and 40s,
Yes.
and you'll see people doing underarm turns.
It's just breaking the embrace.
Yeah. So saltada basically means to go solo or to break the
It's
embrace.
just that you, in the kind of more traditional strains of tango,
Yeah.
breaking the embrace is a no-go
Yeah.
for some reason. Obviously, it wasn't a no-go when it was originally danced in the 30s and 40s, because as you said, there is evidence showing people did it. So it's that one of those things that people decided is a not part of tango when it clearly is.
Yeah. I And also we should point out that saltadas aren't just underarm
Underarm
turn.
turns.
There's plenty of other things you can do with them. So this is a hero. If I relax my arms, I can turn and nobody's gone under anybody's arms. That's still technically a saltado as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless you've broken that embrace.
so saltados is breaking the embrace. But for today's intents and purposes, we're going to do an underarm turn.
Why not?
Because why not?
We've done Sirocco weekend.
Yeah.
Let's do an underarm turn.
But we're going to do a slightly unusual underarm turn. So it's not going to be a simple underarm turn from the front archer like this. We just what we're going to use is actually the spiral, because if you take your follower into a spiral, no matter whether you do it via the burida or you do it purely from the front archer, you come here. When I walk around her, she's effectively turning. So if instead of walking around her like I would in Tango to use my chest leader, if I just turn my arm, and I need to now go up a bit with the screen so you can see what my hand is doing.
Do you need a leg warm on your hand now?
I do, yeah. So
Do you like that?
there's my spiral touch. So instead of walking around and turning her this way, I'm just going to use my arm to do that motion. She's going to pivot on both balls of the feet. She's then ready to either pivot out, but what we're going to do is actually do a burrito. Because if I put her back into this position, turn her...
So I'm going. Chris is lifting his arm and I'm going through that archway, then turning back to face.
So if you notice where her feet are now, right foot forward, this is where she's been from the cross. This is the step out of the cross we've done, which means I can burrito her foot, take her into the parada, step her across, saltada, burrida, parada, passada, saltada, burrida, lots of words beginning with A, and you can actually chain them together. So it's an unusual sequence.
We dance it a lot.
We dance it a lot. I've tried dancing it with quite a lot of other dancers at Malongas. Most of them mess it up. And
I think they move their feet too much.
yeah, they move. For some reason, they think that when they're having to turn, they have to start moving their feet like this,
Yes.
rather than just pivoting
On the ball of the foot.
on the ball of the feet. Which is, so you want to actually, as solo dancers, is there we go. Is keep your feet in position as
Yeah.
long as you can while doing this.
So you're like your big toes are nailed to the floor is what I used to teach my kids when I used to teach ballroom. So my feet are nailed to the floor, so they haven't moved. I've just rotated around. And then obviously this foot's going to get burrited. I'm going to scoot out my way.
Bye.
Come past. Going to go under again. Again, my feet are glued to the floor. He's going to burrito me. I'm going to come past. Again, nailed to the floor. Turn around.
So there's, this is what we taught at the
It is a palaver.
in our first workshop at the Welsh
Maybe
Surf
we
Tango
call it
Festival.
palaver.
Yeah.
I like that. Or maybe palaver, pavlova or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So quite difficult to do this as a solo dancer because as a solo dancer this is exactly the same as a spiral.
Yeah.
So you can still practice the technique for this.
Is it nice because you can go and mix
Yeah.
it.
So what we're going to do is just do it from practice and grace to walk you through this. So my weight, we'll go right from the very beginning. So my weight is on my right foot. I'm taking that side step to the left. I'm twisting my chest towards my follower as I walk outside. We're taking that side step to face each other. I'm twisting to my left to take her into the cross. I'm untwisting her from the cross so she comes across me. I'm placing my right foot next to my follower's right foot to get the burrito. I'm moving her across me to my, so my foot has gone to from my right to my left. I'm twisting her into my right foot so she's into the parada block. She's going to step over me. I'm now going to lift my left hand and let go of my right as she pivots around. So I'm using my left hand to turn her. She's leaving her feet where they are. When she's turned for 180
Like come
degrees,
back to face.
yeah, her right leg is in front, so she's there, ready for the next burrito. So I can recollect her, but my right foot is ready there to burrito her across myself again. Yep, everybody's there. We can get her back into that parada position, stepping her across in a passada, and then we're ready to go again. We can either put her through into the spiral if we want to, so we can walk around our partner this time, get her back to this position, and then we've got another option to burrito her, so we can do as many of these as we like. And I think everybody's there with it.
Yeah. So it's just remembering that when you turn, keep your feet on the floor so that the leader knows where they are when you've done your turns.
Yeah.
It's important for any of the any dancers. Try and make sure that when you do turn, that you are turning on the spot rather than going oh, and ending up 1,000 miles away.
Yeah, you don't want to ever be just randomly coming disconnected. This is what we talk about when connection, when you start doing things which are so random that your partner doesn't know what's going on,
Yeah.
because that's technically a loss of connection. And Ben's got his hand up.
Would you like to unmute yourself, Ben?
Okay.
Hello.
When you like I don't know the foot drag first one.
Yeah.
And then do the
Turn. Yeah.
too many A's. Soltada.
Yeah, soldado, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you moved your right foot back to the back foot to get another foot sweep?
So the follower's got her feet where they are. I'm just leaving my foot where it is actually,
Jesus.
because it's going to be sweeping the same foot again. So so her right foot doesn't move.
Oh, sweep, step over.
So I'm
Yeah.
stepping over, and then again our feet, neither of our feet are moving, and then we're sweeping and coming together, leaving the feet. So technically, really, I'm the person, and the follower's really moving. Like,
Yeah.
the leader's just rotating around your. Maybe you're just using your rotating around your left leg.
Well, as I
and your
move,
right.
I can transfer
Yeah.
my weight briefly onto my other foot
Yeah.
to facilitate my own turn, or I could just
Yeah,
pivot and sweep it.
you're basically.
So I just realised what this looks like.
What?
It looks like
Doesn't
one of those Tudor dancers.
Oh yeah.
Where they have you seen Tudor or
Yes.
Elizabethan clothing where they had like the baggy trousers up here, tight to the bottom,
Yeah.
and doing that sort of dancing.
What was it?
Horse.
Donkey, cow,
Oh,
horse.
actually worth checking this out. They had one of these Elizabethan dancers on
Sunday
Sunday brunch, and all the moves.
Yes, it's awesome. And then he then dances along with the live music at the end from I can't recall.
It's not that grammar, is it?
No,
It's some sort of modern. Yeah.
Totally like total clash of culture, but very, 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 very
Yeah.
funny.
So you got like your those like donkeys. You got cows.
Yeah,
You got
it was very interesting.
yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah.
Worth watching.
Worth it.
Um,
Dig it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, so we put on a piece of music for you just to have a play around with what you've done today. So, obviously, if you're solo dancers, practice either with following another leader if you want to. If you're in partnership, do a partnership. If you're really adventurous, swap roles.
Yes.
Just have some fun with it, and then we'll go into the stretching section. Where are we going? That will definitely be muted if we want to use that one. Let's go.
Part two.
You got. so we've just unmuted you all. People seem to be dancing that fine, at least getting some ideas out of this sort of stuff.
Yes.
So, as I say, some of these moves, like this, the saltada and especially our spiral, are unusual to say. So, people like the saltada stuff, people seem to have sort of like scratched out their repertoire because of this idea of breaking the embrace, which if they're a traditional dancer is a no-no. It's a pity because it is.
It's very nice. It gives you a chance to make different shapes with your dancing.
Yeah, and also when you start doing things like these saltadas, it does offer opportunities to do sort of more unusual sort of stuff, which you might see in show tango and stuff, which can still be led.
Yes.
So
yeah.
They are useful to know. But yeah, we've heard teachers who've been teaching for decades who've never heard of it. Some people don't like it because they consider it to be like a fusion to salsa, because they think that the underarm turn is a salsa instrument, which it probably was because they became more popular in the 80s when there was more space on the dance floor. But
but lots of different partner dances has turns.
yeah, but it's pretty much every partner dance, even the early partner dances in European royalty culture. So the minuet has underarm turner. So
I mean, and also, it is a good fusion point. If you are dancing fusion between your dances, you have got those turns to be able to break the embrace to go between your dances.
Interestingly enough, there is, if you did want to do like a traditional saltada, you can do it from a front ocho, underarm turn there to take her back through. If you were doing this as a more nuevo saltada, you could do it that way and create the space in. That's an awful angle if I chose to do it, so I'm going to do it this way, so there, and then creating the space, reverse the card out is, those are options there for you. So, anyway, we want to obviously thank you all for coming. Thank you for those who have been watching on Facebook.
Thank you, Facebook.
Interesting to see who actually has tuned in, who actually can see you all.
It's interesting the lag as well.
It's interesting the lag as well. Anyway, so now we've got the stretching part of the class, which I think Tara's going to be taking. So we're going to leave you on Facebook now because nobody wants to see me and Alison bending over to stretch our hamstrings. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. As I say, if you are watching this on Facebook,
do like our page.
Do like the page.
Do subscribe to our newsletter.
Yeah. If you do enjoy watching this class, obviously class covers everything from traditional to nuevo, neo tango, everything. We're not just one thing. And it's also got anything better to do on your Monday night, is it?
It's free, people.
And it's free. And as you can see, it's suitable for both solo dancers and couples.
Yes.
And also it's a brilliant way just to bring everybody to the other tango. We know some tango communities are very ruptured. We've tried to build bridges, up to you to cross them. So please, if you do want to join us, just drop us a message and we'll send you the link. Anyway, thank you, Facebook. I need to learn how to turn you off. It's over here.
It's on the phone, yes.
Thank you for watching this Urban Tango Nights recap. If you like these videos, please subscribe to our channel by clicking the logo. You can find more of our class summaries down here and other videos of us dancing tango over here. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Meter. Links are in the description below. And you can also subscribe to our newsletter using the link below.